I have three versatile amps over here. These are quite on the same price range. This is a little bit more expensive, and this Fender Mustang LT25, it's over $100 less expensive. And in this video you will find out which one of these is the best option for you. And just the overall looks of these, I think that these two more expensive ones win this Fender Mustang quite easily, but not an ugly amp, but this just look better to me, and especially this Line6, this is the best looking one of these in my opinion. Looks like a great quality amp. And on the loudness department, these are quite on the same level. This might be just a little bit louder, just a little bit, and it's 10 watts more powerful, so it makes sense, even though the watts don't make all the difference. But with this you get a little bit more direct compressed tones. It's a closed back amp, and this is an open back amp, and the tones of this Katana, those feel through nicely. I really like tones of this, yeah, and tones of open backs overall. Let's now look closer at the control panels of each of these. The overall layout and the usability of this Spider, it's surprisingly simple. For the features that you get, it's really easy to use, in my opinion. And let's turn this on, and this is one small con with the usability. The power switch is on the back side, and especially if you have the limited room, it can be a little bit annoying because you have to kind of reach for it when you want to turn this on. One of the best choices that the Line6 has made with this amp is that you have only these 5 knobs, and you can dial both the regular amp settings and the effects with these by choosing either the amp or the effects. This is really great, and it increases the usability a lot. And one thing missing is the back button. It's not a huge issue because with the home button you can always return to your tone preset, but it would make things a little bit easier, especially when you're starting out with this amp. Yeah, not too bad. And one of my favorite features and the selling points of these amps, you have looper, built-in looper. It's really nice. You have also the drum loops and some riff loops and the metronome with this amp out of the box without any apps. And with this knob you can choose your presets, and with the edit you can edit it. So it's quite simple to use. I really like the usability of this amp, even though it has tons of different features, like 101 different effects, 78 different amps, and still it's really easy to use. And then the Fender. One thing that you can notice right out of the gate is that you have knobs for only the treble and bass, no middle knob, but you can adjust the middle inside the settings if you go this route. But yeah, it's a small con, but this is so small amp that some compromises had to be probably made, and that's why there's no middle knob. But the overall usability of this amp, this is a little bit harder to use, in my opinion, than the Line6 Spider V60. A little bit. Let me show you, because you have to use this for dialing in different mods and delays and all that kind of stuff. It's not too hard, but it's a little bit harder than with the Spider. And there's a back button, it makes things a little bit easier. And the overall layout of this menu, it's okay, but not as simple as with the Line6. At least for me, maybe you like this more, but that's just my opinion about this. But still, for the features that you get and for the price, usability is definitely good enough. It's still simple, and I had a ton of fun playing this amp. And this doesn't have a looper. That's definitely a small con. If this amp would have a looper, this would be absolutely one of my favorite amps, under 500 even, because this offers so much for the price already, but the looper just would make this perfect. And the simplicity is one main thing what you get with this Katana when it's compared to Fender and Line6 here. You get 5 different amp types, and personally for me these 5 are enough, but some might crave for more. And then basic controls, we have the 3-band EQ, then we have a booster and the modulation effects. These both knobs are kind of placed on top of each other. The booster is on the bottom and the modulations are on the top. With booster you can control the distortion effects, and with the modulation you can control the modulation effects. And then the same layout for the FX and the delay knobs on top of each other. And with the FX button you can control stuff like tremolo and wah, and with the delay types of effect, and then the reverb. So really simple layout. And still you have nice variety of different effects out of the gate. And then you have the one feature that most amps like this don't have. You have option to choose the 1.5 watt if you really need to practice quietly, and then 25 watts, and then the 50 watts power. And also you have the standby mode if you just want to leave the amp on but want it to be quiet. And then you have channel 1, channel 2 buttons, and with the panel button you can select all the 4 presets that you can say with this amp. And every one of these has the app that you can use with these to craft different tones and do all kinds of cool stuff. And I think that the app of this Fender is easily the best one, at least in my opinion. It's really pleasant layout that the amp has. It kind of invites you to use it. And the fact that you can actually turn the knobs with the different pedals and the amps, it's just cool. And I think Fender has done a really great job with the tone app. I really enjoy it. It's by far my favorite one when it comes to apps of these 3. Yeah. And I think this Line6, it takes the second spot. It's simple, a little bit harder to use than this app of this Fender. And when it comes to simplicity, I think these are kind of on the same level. But the overall, there's more visuals that makes it easier to use and more fun to use also. You can see different amps there too. But with Pone, I have used some Line6 apps. Those are a little bit laggy sometimes. So it's solid too. And with the Boss Katana, it gets the job done, but everything is a little bit old-fashioned. You have to use drop-down menus when selecting different pedals and stuff like that. It gets the job done. You can craft your own tones with it. That's for sure. But it doesn't invite me to use it. And also one con with these two, Line6 and the Boss, that they use this kind of printer USB. And for that reason, you might have to buy this separately. These two don't include this out of the box. And every household doesn't have these lying around. This came with my USB conversion mic, and that's why I have this. And right now I think we should hear how these amps sound. I have the separate sound demos and reviews of each of these if you want to hear more, but these are just, I try to keep these simple and not too long. I recorded cleans, about kind of rhythm chords, and then a little bit leads with the clean, and then grunts, riffs and leads, then rock tones, riffs and leads again, and then distorted metal tones. You guessed it, riffs and leads too. So let's check these out. those were the tones of each of these. In my opinion, this Line6 sounds the worst. By far the best tones that you can get with these are those artist presets, and you can craft pretty nice tones with this one also. But those out-of-the-box presets, most of those are not very good sounding, in my opinion. It's a little bit digital sounding, too compressed in my opinion. Some tones remind me of video game music a little bit, so yeah, even that this is over $100 more expensive than this Fender, I think this still sounds better, especially those out-of-the-box presets. Maybe you can craft pretty amazing sounding presets with this one yourself, than the kind of tones that just sound great to you, but you can do that with this one too. But yeah, that's the case in my opinion. And then these kind of are quite on the same level. I'm quite surprised how good this little Mustang is. I think this slightly takes the edge, this Boss, slightly. It's offers more fuller tones. Yeah, it's slightly takes the edge, but you can tap in the versatility of this amp easier than with this Boss Katana. Yeah, so they're almost on the same levels, but I have to give this Boss Katana the edge just a little bit. So if you are just after the best tones, and these are your options, and also I have chosen this one. This is going to stay with me for a longer time. As I mentioned, you can hear more sound demos and me rambling on about the tones of these on the separate reviews, and you can watch the sound demos too. So, who is each one of these for? This is for feature cravers, that you just want tons of different features. Yeah, that kind of sums it, and you don't necessarily need the best sounding amp. This is not a bad sounding amp, this doesn't sound awful in my opinion, but you can get better sounding amps for this price. Even the Vox Valvetronics 20, I think it sounds better than this one. Personally, right now, I would choose that one over this Line6. But for feature cravers, and this looper, it's the great feature. This is kind of a best practice buddy for you, in my opinion. For this price range, great practice buddy that doesn't complain about your musical taste or playing. Looper and the drum loops and the riff loops and the metronome, great. And then this Fender. This amp is surprisingly amazing. For this price, the value for money is amazing. This sounds great. You can compare it to even $100 or $150 more expensive amps, and it still kind of put up the fight against those. And usability is great, and the app is one of the best of the business in my opinion for this kind of a budget beginner price range. Yeah, I really like those, and especially the Fender cleans of this amp. Really great and hard to craft with any other amp. You can craft those for sure, but Fender cleans of this are just great. So this is for beginners and who don't have a lot of room for them. This is a great option. Best beginner amp in my opinion, by far. Only if you don't want the screen, you want even more simple amp, then options like Orange Crush 20 RT or the Fender Champion 20 are better options. But 9 times out of 10 I would go with this Mustang LT25. And then this Boss Katana. If you don't want the screen that these have and you want simplicity, more old-fashioned kind of usability, and also I think this sounds a bit better than the Fender Mustang and a lot better than this. This is the best sounding amp of these in my opinion. The difference between these two is not huge, but there is a difference, yeah. But this amp also has the 50 watt version, but it sounds pretty great, and I think that it can even beat this up. Maybe with metal this is slightly better, but honestly I waited a little bit more from the metal tones of this amp. For the price I really can't complain. So this is for folks who want simple usability, but great features without any screens, without any apps. And also if you love the open back tones, more fuller and room filling tones, this is a great option for you. And when it comes to versatility, of course these don't give you great tube tones, so yeah, don't wait for those, but But when it comes to practicing, this can do everything for you. And if you have a drummer buddy who is not the loudest in the world, I think that you can quite easily practice with these two, with your drummer buddy. So overall nowadays it's pretty amazing what we can get for this price. We have to remember that for those prices that we see in the web stores, there is the value added tax included. Yeah, so these offer really nice value for money in my opinion. Even though that, for example, the Line6 there doesn't sound the best in my opinion, but I really can't complain. Not really. It still offers great value for money. And you can have a ton of fun with that amp. And my channel is supported by you guys. So if you are going to buy some gear and check the price of these, use my links. And if you buy something through those, I get a small commission that helps me to produce more content, buy more gear to review. And if you want to choose with me which gear I make videos of and also see some extra videos with each of these, for example, then go check out my Patreon. That would mean the world to me. And in the verdict, this is the best practice buddy. Fender, best for beginners for sure. And if you want the small size, and then the Boss over here, it's the best if you want the great tones, great sounding amp that is easy to use and has an open back. And personally, I decided to go with this Boss Katana. One reason is that it's so versatile, it's so popular, that it's great to test different guitars with this amp. Hopefully this video was helpful for you and helped you to decide which amp to buy. All of these are good amps in my opinion and offer great value for money. I really can't complain. If you want to see more of my videos, subscribe, and at the end I have one really important thing to ask for you. Stay safe and hopefully I will see you again soon.